I'm a believer, a family man, and a racer at heart. And now, I'm going to bring it all together in one place. Welcome to FastFaith, the podcast where passion meets purpose and speed meets the spirit. From the tight, unforgiving turns at the bull ring known as the madhouse, to the high-stakes, high-bank turns of Daytona and Talladega, I'm sitting down with the drivers who live it, breathe it, and bring that heat in every lap. So buckle in, fire it up. The lights are off and we're coming to the green flag. Get ready to smash that gas. This is Fast Faith. Welcome to Fast Faith, where speed meets the spirit. I'm your host, Michael Weiser, and today I'm joined by somebody who doesn't only make an impact on the track, but makes an impact in the community as well. Has a family foundation, a heart for the community, and a deep faith. That's Mr. Brad Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. Brad, thanks for joining me in this conversation today. Everybody, Brad was actually the first driver I sent an invitation to or talked to about doing it. But in God's timing, everything always works out for the best. So I'm honored to have you join me and talk about what faith means to you, family, and racing.
Well, thanks for being patient. Mom got sick and kind of put us behind a little bit, but now she's doing much better. So
That's
able
good.
to get out here and talk with you.
Good. That's answered prayers. So it's, for folks that might not know you or know you that well, describe yourself in just a few words. What makes Brad Lewis tick?
Family. Family first. I race with my son and my daughter, and if you'll come to the pits on Saturday morning, Saturday evening, it's my family. We have my son is married to Taylor Robbins, and they have a child, Zane, and I have my daughter Emily. Then we have adopted Ren. We adopted her when she was a year old, and she's now 14, 15. So we've had her quite a while, and had her since she's a year old. And family means a lot. My mom, my sister, everyone's involved. My brother-in-law, and then I have some nephews. I have a nephew that works on the car, and he has 3 kids. And just love for my family is what drives me.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Has it always been that way in the Lewis family, or is that something that's kind of come with time?
We've always been close. We call it the hill, I guess. My mother lives right beside my sister, and it's on a hill. And every Sunday after church, we would all gather there to eat. Mom cooked. She cooked breakfast before church, and then she cooked lunch after church. And she doesn't do that so much now because her health doesn't let her. But we still gather there. It's a gathering place for our family, and that's how we, worship. We just get together, and kids are outside, and the shop's there. That's where my race shop's at. Like I said, it's just one big family, and we're big. And we continue to grow. Like I said, I got Kendall, my nephew, has 2 children and one on the way, and then we have a crew member that's like best friends with Emily. They have 2 little ones and another one on the way. So our children keep growing.
That's good. That's good. Family is very important. What's life like when you're not at the racetrack? How does life go for? I mean, everybody that's a fan at the track, they see at the track, they know what's going on there. But what keeps you going on outside the track?
To be honest with you, it's a lot. It's pretty draining. Like I said, we have 2 cars, we have 2 drivers, and I basically have 2 crew members. And those 2 crew members have 2 little ones with one on the way. So it's basically a lot of times I'm getting my car ready. I spend the majority of my time working on my car, and Emily works on hers. And a lot of times we're there by ourselves. The guys come when they can.
Yeah.
But I always tell them I get to hold the steering wheel. They don't. So I want their family to be more important to them than racing.
Yeah.
Anytime you can bring racing into it and you can gather together and fellowship or however you want to put it, um, that's the time to do it. But you can't replace your family time with racing.
Right.
It won't work out in the long run. My wife is not the biggest fan of racing. She'll tell you that. But the reason why she's engaged and does it was because she sees how much I love it. Emily loves it. Chase loves it. Taylor loves it. Uh, my stepdaughter Allison, she loves it. She's involved. So I mean, like I said, I forgot Allison in the first frame, but I do have a stepdaughter also. She's the oldest. I guess that's kind of why I forgot her. Yeah, I'm getting old and I'm forgetful, but she's another one.
Good.
She takes care of us, and then she has 2 children that are my grandchildren. I've raised Allison basically as a stepfather since she was a year old, and now I enjoy my 2 grandchildren, Cooper and Sawyer Rose.
So when it says Lewis Family Racing, it literally is the Lewis Family Racing.
Yeah, it branches out and it keeps going. And like I said, you come to the shop or you come to that hill, they call it, and the kids are little. I mean, you're talking from Zane and Sawyer Rose were born 14 days apart.
Oh wow!
So they're at the same age, and then you bring in some of the crew members and my nephews' kids. They're all that same age. If I had to tell you right now, I'd probably be lying to you trying to tell you all their ages, but they're all at that toddler age, mine age. It's all mine, type of thing. So it all intermixes. And if you go to top of section 2 where they sit, I know I've probably said this in a couple podcasts. There's a lot of children there.
Oh yeah.
And we have a love for our children, and we're the future.
Oh yeah.
They're the future. So
definitely.
You gotta try and show them the right way, but also let them live their life. I think, and that's what we try to do as a family.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, family runs deep. What is your faith and spirituality like in the Lewis family?
We all have a love for God, in our own way, and I think that's important, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
We're all going to fall short. We know that.
Oh yeah.
I fall short daily, and faith drives me. My head hits the pillow every night. I talk to God every single night. There's not a night that I don't miss talking to God about praying for someone, praying for my mom. My wife's got an aunt that's had a stroke not too long ago. That's just a subject that I talk with nightly.
Yeah.
That's my time, and I don't necessarily get on my knees. I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way or what. I think only He could answer that.
Yeah.
We can say what we want to. We can read the Bible. We can do that. But when my time is when my head hits that pillow, I talk to Him, and it may take 5 minutes. It may take 2 minutes. It may take 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on how my day was.
Right.
And what's going through my mind right then.
Yeah.
That's my faith.
I think as long as we're having that conversation with Him, to me, it's a conversation between you and Him. Whether you do it on your knees or you do it sitting up, standing down, sitting down, whatever it may be, you're having that conversation with Him.
I can tell you every time I sit in that race car, I have one before I go out to, they have the racer's prayer.
Yeah.
And I bow my head for that, but I have an extra conversation. That's why I get in early. I like to get in my car early, and I like to get settled in, and I need that quiet time, and most times it's talking to God.
Yeah.
Not many people know that.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't per se. I don't want to say. I don't want to use the word brag because that wouldn't be the right word. I just don't want to put it out there that what I'm doing. That's between me and
Yeah. It's between you and
God.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I think a lot of people lose sight of on how to show God's love is we don't always have to preach it. We don't always have to do it. We have our time where we're with Him, and then we do things to help others. I mean, you guys do a lot of things to help others. Every time I look on Facebook, there's something going on, and I always see the Lewis Family Racing Facebook page responding to whatever's going on, saying we'll be there or we'll help out or we going to do this or do that. So those are ways to show God's love other than just getting on the microphone and saying something after every race or saying something before every race.
Childhood cancer is big for us because Chase was born with neuroblastoma, and that's why I'm so involved. I get emotional. I'm sorry, I'm an
No,
emotional
that's
guy,
fine.
but I get um, talking about that, and then just like these two girls that we were at the track Saturday, and sponsor made some stickers, and they would just take donations. Well, I went to I went to everybody I could see on Saturday morning, and everybody in that pits, all the drivers, crew members were pulling money out of their wallet. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want stickers, but they just wanted to donate. And then in the evening, before practice started, Emily and Chase hit everybody. I can tell you, I handed the money over to my sponsor because they're a part of like the little committee that's putting on the benefit next Sunday, the 29th, for these two girls, Emma and Autumn. I didn't. We were counting it throughout the day, and at one point we were over 1,400, probably close to $1,500.
Wow.
Just here's a sticker for whatever you want to donate. We don't care if it's 50 cents or if it's $1. I don't
Right.
care. The Lord knows your intentions.
Yeah.
And it's all about the kids. I went to people that I've had problems with in those pits. I got no problems going with them to them about something like that because all that should be put aside. It's about those two girls. It ain't about my ego or your ego or what's happened on the racetrack.
Yeah.
I think we lose touch of that sometimes over there. There's a lot of egos.
Oh yeah.
Put a man behind a steering wheel and there's testosterone or I'm Billy bad, whatever you want to think. You got to just set that aside.
Yeah.
And I can say every driver that I went to, even ones I've had a problem with this year, were spot on and willing to help.
Well, that's the thing about racing, no matter whether it's at Bowman Gray or any of the other tracks, is in the local track and the short track world, it seems, that everybody can kind of push aside their differences that they've had on the track or even personally maybe to lend a hand and to show somebody their love and compassion in a different way. And that's something that I'm really learning even in a deeper way this year for me. Because the thing that I'm learning about interviewing you guys is I'm learning new things about the racing community that I kind of knew was there. And now I'm kind of like, oh, wow, that's like really big. So when you guys can put aside the differences and you can walk up to somebody and say, hey, we're collecting donations or money for, whether it be these two young ladies or whether it be somebody else or some of the other ones that some of them have happy endings. Some of them, unfortunately, haven't, But that's something that's always just a beautiful thing. And to me, it's God at work in the track, whether any of the drivers or crew that are donating or fans that are donating even know it. That's God at work to touch the lives of those families. So I would commend you and give you a lot of respect for what you do for the community as a family and as a team.
We try hard. We don't, there's a lot that we could do more, but I think, we do what we can or what we see and what's in front of us. But I think as a whole, Bowman Gray Stadium does a lot, through all the drivers. I think there again, he picks how he's working through you.
Yeah.
And you just gotta go along with it. And I think if we could just humble ourselves more often and look around and understand what's going on outside of your world and take it in instead of think as a society we've become a lot of me,
Yeah.
and you got to get out of that. In my eyes,
Yeah.
I don't want to be just. I don't want to worry about just me. I want to worry about what's going on outside. And how can something that's close to my heart is, like I said, childhood cancer. I mean, a lot of people know, but Emily lives with a tumor also, but it's not growing. But she has a tumor in her brain. But um, so we've been affected a lot of different ways, and I like to think outside of just worrying about me and my family. What can I do for other families? That's how I look at it.
Talked about family and faith a lot. You've mentioned Emily. For those of you that may watch this that don't know Bowman Gray, that's his daughter. She drives the number 4 car, which my son has always loved because he sees solely from Monsters Inc. poking out from behind it. And Emily got her first win last year.
Yes.
Kind of walk me through what you can remember of the emotions of that, because you were running right behind her, second or third, kind of doing what Dad does, making sure his baby girl can get to the checkers first, and kind of walk me through what you remember of the emotions that day. Because I know, just as fans, me and my son were excited. We hadn't even met you or Emily yet at that time, but he was so excited because he's loved her car and he's just always gravitated toward it. He's like, "Daddy, let's go down and celebrate." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
we don't know them, but we'll go down." So he has that memory of seeing her first win and being on the track, and the emotions of the family and the team and everybody and the other fans or family, friends, and fans. But walk me through what it feels like as a dad to see your girl get her first win.
Well, with Emily, if you most people should know. I don't know if they all know, but Emily's maybe polar opposite of her dad. She's fiery. Um, she has an attitude, and she can have that attitude. And I don't try to change her per se. That's not my job.
Right.
It's my job is to guide her and help her make good decisions as a parent. And I try to do that, but I don't change the way she is normally, like she's wired. I think you get wiser with years. I do believe that. But that day, I mean, I drew the pole. Actually, I started on the pole, and she drew the outside pole. And her and Dylan Ward come up with a plan to try to throw me off my game outside. I'd already made up my mind that I was going to let her get the experience of starting a race. Um, but with their plan, they decided that they were going to door me. She was going to turn left into my door, and then she was going to take off. Well, it worked. I froze for just long enough for her to get just in front of me, and I was still kind of starstruck by the first lap. I mean, by the time we come around a couple laps later, I'm like, she just doored me, and she got out front, and believe it or not, she messed up one corner the whole race, coming off a 2. But other than that, I couldn't catch her. My car wasn't what it had been. I was bottoming out one of the corners. You could even see the sparks, but I couldn't catch her, and the guy behind me couldn't catch me, and I was like, wow, she does have a. I knew she's got talent. She's played hockey. She's my tomboy, but I knew she had athletic ability. But that soon, you usually don't see something that quick happen over there. I mean, that was only her 15th, 16th race.
Yeah.
And she just took off and got out there and was gone. I couldn't catch her. And then when it was all over with, I think they ended up calling it on lap 19. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. I couldn't have got her on the start. She was pretty good. Um, I pulled over to the side and, I cried like a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Those emotions hit. Your I think your biggest goal in your life is to see your children succeed, whatever they do. I don't care if it's coloring a coloring book.
Right.
I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
going to see my children succeed. And now I had no idea that they said we were the first father, daughter, son to win a race over there. With Chase winning one the year before, the very last race. That was big history, and I was very happy for my son. I've seen my son win a lot. He's a big time hockey player.
Right.
My other kids kind of, I don't want to, they didn't do without per se, but they didn't play some of the level of sports that he played at because he loved ice hockey so much, and we did a lot of traveling, and they were just they wanted to have fun, but they put a lot aside. But when she won, I don't know, something about your baby girl winning a race at Bowman Gray Stadium in front of you. I mean, can you draw? I mean, can you write that up? Can you make a script?
Yeah. No,
you know, Dad's going to start on the pole. His daughter's going to start on the outside pole. She's going to get him, not because he wanted her to on the start, but then, and she's going to pull away. I'd catch her some, but I really didn't have anything for her. And then that's what really at home, people thought, well, Dad gave it to her. I promise you, Dad didn't give it to her. Yeah, Dad's probably a little safety barrier.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in 05 was behind me and Nick Wall was behind him. They'd never caught me.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would have caught her. Maybe they would have got her on the start if they'd have done something run in deep like happens over there. But
yeah.
I don't know. I cried. I know Dylan Ward was very happy. My wife, the whole family, so happy. It goes all the way down to the kids. To Allison was happy, and my mom, my sister.
I feel like that was a pretty popular win.
I think
I don't think there was very many people that, if they were upset about it, I think they're just some of those not nice people.
Yeah, well, and I don't know that I would classify it as the one that K-Train got this weekend, but K-Train's was big.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy to go 190 starts and not win a race, it's a pretty popular win. But I think when a female wins, I hate to say it, it's a popular win. And like you said, Sully, that brings the kids.
The kids, definitely.
That's why she done it.
Yeah.
We went to Carteret during a Halloween race one year when she had just probably ran 2 races, and we took her to the beach to Carteret, and she said, "Put Sully on my car for the Halloween." And that's when it stuck. She said, "Well, I'm not taking Sully back off my car. It's your car."
Yeah.
So.
And it looks good. It looks good on there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know we enjoyed seeing her win that night, and ever since then, she's always one of the ones we stop at for my son to talk to and see, and she's always just so, outgoing towards him and friendly with him, and he's still waiting on her to bring him a door or a fender or something. So.
She's got to dig them out of that. We got an old truck out there. We got parts stuck in. She's got to dig one of them out.
But so we talked about just a little bit ago, though, what you've done in conjunction with sponsors or other people to help families. Why do you feel like giving back is such a big part of your life?
Well, it goes back to Chase being sick. My wife couldn't work at that point. She had worked most of her life, or most of her adult life, or even I think she started working. She was 14 or 15 in a restaurant, and she was a waitress, and she made really good money at that. And then he got sick, and she couldn't work. One of us had to stay home and take care of him. Well, the only reason we stayed afloat was they put a jar out there, and her customers, or the customers of that restaurant, would put money in it every day. I mean, we bought groceries out of this jar. We didn't have the money to do what we needed to do as a family with Chase being sick and only one income. And so that's mainly the reason is we seen how good people could be to us.
No.
We wanted to be good to other people as much as we could.
Good. Is there a story from the things that you've done in the community with the racing community, or just even in general, that really kind of sticks out to you, that just really kind of made a big impact in your heart, and kind of said, hey, we're gonna keep doing for more families moving forward?
I'm trying to think. Most everything we've done is we've seen that's come through Chris Carter, the announcer. He started it. He always tells me, hey, I'll tell him, he's having a fundraiser, and I'll say, we're going to be there. He said, Brad, when I'm having one, I don't ever question. It's for children that you're going to be there. Your cars are going to be there. I don't know that there's one particular thing. I think it all means something. I witnessed one of my doors go for a couple $100 for one of the benefits he had, and I was like, wow, somebody's gonna give $200 for a beat up door I got, and just because it ain't because of me,
Right.
it's to give to this child struggling. I don't know if there's one particular. I got to meet Autumn Saturday night. I gave her a hug. I asked her, I said, first thing I said, can I give you a hug? She's coming to the trailer. She's at the track. I never met her.
Yeah.
It's moments like that, and she just continuously thanking us. So it's just them, the child being thankful. I mean, she's 16 or getting ready to be 16. I think it's just the people being thankful is what means the most to me.
Yeah.
It's not one moment or one time that I can just sit right here and think about. It's all of it as a group.
What's one thing when the checkered flag waves on Brad Lewis's career, not your life, because we got hopefully there's a long time of that left. But everybody gets to a point where they say, you know what, I've done what I can do on a racetrack, and I'm ready to move on, did something different, car ownership, helping family, helping kids, grandkids, whatever it may be. But what is the one thing that when that checkered flag waves that you want people to look back on your legacy that you leave behind?
I want them to think about. Ultimately, I want them to. Hey, that guy was a good guy. He cared about people. But I want them to recognize how humble I was. I think humbleness goes a long ways, and I think Bowman Gray Stadium can give you both. From in one day, you can be on your high, and then you can be humble just like that. So I want people to say he was a good guy. But he was also humble, uh, and realize that there was a bigger picture than just him. It ain't about me.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of drivers over there, and I've witnessed a lot of them, and I hope they don't watch this and get mad at me, but they're about themselves.
Yeah.
And there needs to be some looking in the mirror and saying, wow, this ain't really about me or about my ego. It's about the bigger picture of all those kids that come in those pits. They're watching you. They're seeing what being an adult looks like. They're seeing what being a race car driver looks like. And I don't want to give them a bad representation of what someone should be, a person should be. Am I perfect? No. I miss every day,
Right.
like we already talked about.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I catch myself not being perfect. Brad, check yourself. You got to look around, see who's around, what's going on, and not only that, it shouldn't be just about who's around. It should be what you want to do yourself.
Right.
And like I said, I want people to say, no matter how many races Brad won, it don't matter that I haven't won a championship, and it's not looking good this year. I'm not points racing this year already, so but I have finished second 2 years in a row. But I don't want them to think of Brad about that. I want them to know that they could come and talk to Brad anytime, and they would get an answer, and they wouldn't get any negativity, and that Brad's a humble person. Just because I own a couple of street stock cars at Bowman Gray doesn't mean I'm any better than any person that walked through that gate. We all got out of bed the same way, and that's the way I want them to think. Is we're all humans.
Yeah, good. What's some advice that you might give to somebody out there that's young, starting up maybe, or maybe that's something they want to do is kind of live a normal life, but still have that passion of being a race car driver, and they figure, hey, you know what, I can do it locally, and whether it be Bowman Gray or Caraway or Ace or some of the other tracks in this general area. What's some advice that you'd give a young person out there, a little boy or a little girl, that you think could really help them get grounded in a good career?
Um, First of all, I'd say they need to be themselves. Don't change. I mean, unless you're a bad person, don't change who you are to bring in people into your circles. Because I use the circle word a lot. I mean, I got people in my circle. You'll hear that a lot, especially in my post. Don't change who you are to attract attention from whatever it is, whatever, if it's just crew members or if it's sponsors, partners, whatever it is, don't change who you are to try to get that in. I feel like in God's time, He'll reward you if you're a good person. Just be a good person, and don't want it too much. It feels like if you want it too much, it's unattainable sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep going back to it's just be a good person, just be a good human being, um, and respect everybody. Uh, there's people that come and talk to me every week. I got a couple guys that are building a street stock car that come. His dad's been in racing for a long time, and they're building a car together. They got this car, and they come and talk to me about it every couple of weeks. And I would think, in my mind, a lot of teams probably don't pay them any attention.
Mm-hmm.
They don't answer their questions. They're short with them. So don't. I'd say don't be about yourself. You know, I think that's a big problem over there. I keep going back to it. I see a lot of guys that don't pay attention to the kids. They don't pay attention to the fans. Um, and if they do, they do it sometimes just to better themselves. Um, it needs to be true. You know what I'm saying? In your heart, you need to be that type of person. So be who you are, and stay grounded, um, and ultimately be good to people, no matter what. Even if somebody's not good to you, be good to them.
Yeah.
As much as it aggravates you, you can still be good. You know, you can still be a good human being if somebody is short with you or talks to you wrong. You can kill them with kindness, I guess they'd say.
Yeah.
I like to kill people with kindness. I deal with that every day. And, don't give up on their dreams. As a kid wanting to come up and race, um, you don't have to be the fastest to start with. You don't have to have the best equipment to start with. But if you want to go over there and you want to race, whether it be starting in a go-kart or whatnot, don't let people discourage you because you're slow or whatnot. But do know your talent level at that point or your equipment level at that point and respect everybody else. You know, I took Emily over there for the first year. She would draw. She went to the rear every race. You know, we worked on her getting better and being able to race and have some race craft. And she still got some work to do that. I still got some work to do that. Okay, we're running street stock farm great, but know your level of talent, respect your competitors, um, and know your level of equipment. And it's fine if you don't have the best, but just know what that is.
Yeah.
And work to get you better, you faster. And then when you need more car, then however you need to do to get more car or more motor or a better motor, not more motor, a better motor, whatever that is, then do that. But stay grounded and respectful of others.
That's good. That's good. So, what's the best way for people to keep up with you and keep up with Lewis Family Racing?
To be honest with you, my wife helps me some. Allison, my daughter, she works Velocity, so but if Lewis Family Racing Facebook page is really all we got now. I mean, we're getting better. Um, I actually run that page, so here again, I ask people to be patient with me because I'm greeting fans. I drive the car.
Yeah.
I work on the cars. I get them to the track. Um, I run that stuff. I have all the relationships with our partners. Emily comes in a little bit. I'm guiding her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that LFR page is the best way to stay in tune with what we're trying to do. It's almost 500 followers now. I can remember when it was 5. Um, so that's the best place, and I put on as much stuff on there as I can when I have time. But you probably know you've been around. I think Zach Orr quite a bit. What it takes to get a car ready to get to the racetrack, it takes a lot.
Oh yeah.
and time comes into play. Look how many times I couldn't get here to talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, with just life outside of racing, but that's probably the best place. And come see me after the race. I'm down there. I'm approachable.
Yeah,
you probably
you
say
really are, yeah.
I try to be approachable. I try to talk to every kid that comes down there. There's some that come in on before the race on Saturday, and they probably, their parents might get mad at me sometimes. You want to get in the car?
Yeah.
You know, I put them in the car. Emily has kind of adopted that too. You know, come down there and see us. We generally care about the fans. We want to talk to them. We want to hear about you too. It ain't all about us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's something. That's good. So, Brad, I want to thank you for joining me on Fast Faith. I think it's a good conversation. I learned a little bit more about you,
Okay.
Which is good. I hope the people that watch it learn a little bit about you, learn about your journey of family being very deep, faith being a strong foundation within that family.
Yep.
I think we talked about, pretty much everything that we usually talk about on these podcasts with different drivers. And I want to point out to those that are watching as well that Brad is a little similar to some of the other drivers that we've talked to of, carrying yourself with good character, carrying yourself as a good person, doing things for the community, doing things for others is a way of showing Christ's love without necessarily saying his name, without necessarily doing things that can sometimes cause the politically correct people to get all things. And it also allows it to where when somebody comes up to him and wants to have a conversation like me and him had one of the first times I ever talked to him about faith and family, the door's open because they can feel it. They can feel it from your spirit that you're a good person, that you have the Spirit of the Lord living in you. Mm-hmm. So it ain't always about, not everybody's called to be a preacher or a minister or a pastor, but everybody is called to show God's love, and we all have different ways of doing it. So just want to send that out there to a reminder to you guys. If you like this conversation that we had, make sure you check out the other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And Brad, if you don't mind, I'll close us in a quick prayer.
Yes.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time. We pray, Father, that this message may go out for those to hear it and to be moved by it. We just thank you for all that you do for us, our families, the families in the community, and thank you for blessing us so that we can be able to bless others as well, Father, and show your love through kindness and care. We give all the glory to you, and in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
This has been Fast Faith with Michael Weiser. I want to send a good thank you to Brad Lewis for sitting down and having a great conversation about faith, family, racing, and helping the community. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to check out my other videos. Also, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe for more faith-fueled stories like these. I'll see you around the track, and see you next time on Fast Faith, where speed meets the spirit.